Slightly sweet and sublimely succulent, it's an ingredient which needs little modification and even less introduction. Crab. Steamed and cracked from its crusty crustacean-y outside, dipped in a little butter, and you have the most pure form of crab enjoyment there is. In my opinion, the ultimate crab experience is a crab cake. Put onto a toasted bun with a little bit of aioli, maybe a fresh leaf of lettuce and some tomato, and you have a delightful sandwich. But left on its own on a plate, the crab cake can get lost. I suggest serving it up with another sweet and succulent ingredient, one which we're probably up to our ears in this time of year. Corn. Southwest creamed corn, to be exact. Add a little fresh green vegetable and some tartar sauce or remoulade to the plate, and you'll have a dish that friends or family will be clamoring for over and over again. Now, you may be a bit crabby when you see the price of jumbo lump meat at the store, but at least the dish comes together shockingly easily. Alright, here's everything you're going to need. All the exact ingredients and instructions will be available via dishingouteats.com. Start off by cracking 1 large egg into a bowl. Go in with about a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, about a tablespoon or so of Dijon mustard. Go ahead and whisk that together. It's easy to work that egg and get it combined when there's not too many ingredients in the bowl. To this we're going to add a couple of teaspoons of Old Bay seasoning. It's really just to taste. If you like the flavor, add more. And then we're going to add just a splash, 1 or 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Of course, freshly cracked black pepper, as well as a pinch of salt. And then go ahead and whisk all that until it is homogeneous. Next up, we're going to add in about a tablespoon or so of minced parsley. You could use cilantro or chives. Also, we're going to crack up some Ritz crackers. Now these are little half tubes, so I'm going to do about 1 1/2 of those. If you're using a full tube, go ahead and do about 3/4. Make sure you get them nicely broken up before putting them in. And now comes our crab meat. I'm using a mixture of lump and backfin crab meat, but you can use all jumbo lump if you want. Go ahead and get that worked in, just being careful not to break up the big pieces of crab any more than you have to. Go ahead and park that in the fridge for 30 minutes or even overnight if you need to, and then we're going to form our cakes. Now, I'm using a ring mold because it makes them come out nice and pretty and even, and I'm going for about 6 to 8 ounce cakes here. You should get anywhere from 6 to 8 of them, depending on how packed you pack the meat and filling into the mold. Form them by hand if you want. Again, I just like the way they come out nice and even by doing it this way. Once they have been formed, they are ready to cook. Now you could do this in a skillet, but I find it's easier to put them in the oven for about 15 minutes at 450 degrees until they come out looking like that. Optionally, you can park them under the broiler for the last couple of minutes for extra golden brown deliciousness. Now let's move on to our corn. For that, we're going to go ahead and cut up a 1/4 of a red onion and get it diced very finely. Next, we have a red bell pepper. You can use any color you want. I just like the way the red plays with the green and yellow of the corn and other vegetational ingredients. We're going to go ahead and get that diced up pretty finely as well. This is all going to cook fairly quickly, especially considering that corn can be eaten raw, so we want these in to be relatively small pieces so that they cook quickly and evenly. And if you want to know why I'm ever distracted behind the camera, yeah, you can thank this guy. Hi, Anubis. He's never more than 2 inches away from anything that I'm cooking. As far as your corn goes, we're going to need the contents of 3 ears, and I'm using the bowl method. See, bowl in the bowl, and it gets all the kernels in there without a mess. We're going to take this over to the stove and put it on medium heat into a skillet, starting off with our onions and peppers. Get those seasoned with salt and pepper, and cook until they're just softening. Then add your corn, again over medium to medium-high heat, and stir for 3 to 4 minutes, just to cook the corn slightly. Season that as well with salt and pepper, and let it cook for a few more minutes, probably about 10 minutes total. And our final ingredients are going to be 1 clove of minced garlic, 1 very finely minced chipotle pepper in adobo sauce, and some cream, but we need to cook this chipotle and garlic for just a minute or 2 first. I'm going to add in about 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream, cook that out just for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then for proper consistency, I like to give it just a little bit of a mash, but again, that's optional. I find that it helps it be very rich and creamy while still having nice large pieces of corn. To plate this up, we're going to put a couple of nice big spoonfuls of our corn down on the plate and smooth it out. I went ahead and cooked up some asparagus to go alongside, but you could do any green vegetable that you wanted. So I'm just going to tuck that down into the plate there with the corn, add our crab cake to the top, and then drop on just a little bit of tartar sauce. We showed you how to make that in episode 1 of this season. Of course, we need some green, right? So I'm putting some chives on top, fresh squeeze of lemon, and we're ready to eat. Let's see how these cakes turned out. It's almost all crab. Can't wait. Let's get this corn here. The chipotles give that really smoky, just slight little kick of heat there at the end. The crab cake is sweet. It's just so flavorful. You're not getting a bunch of breadcrumbs and a bunch of vegetation in there. It's just crab with a little bit of binder to hold it together. You gotta give this recipe a try. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for coming by. And until I see you again, go make something delicious.